Chance the Rapper and his wife, Kirsten, are getting a divorce, and we're going to talk about it today. It says they're getting a divorce after years together.
5 years.
5 years to be exact.
Yeah.
And they put out this statement here, which we'll read real quick. After a period of separation, the two of us have arrived at the decision to part ways. We came to this decision amicably and with gratitude for the time we spent together. God has blessed us with 2 beautiful daughters who we will continue to raise together. We kindly ask for privacy and respect as we navigate this transition. So we'll do our best to keep the privacy part and honor that, because this is a private matter between them. Obviously, there's no details of what happened, what was the source of this, but many people, of course, are speculating.
Yeah.
And I will let you go ahead and kick it off. What are your thoughts on this situation?
Well, I think where you were getting at, I agree. A lot of people, we've seen a lot of comments and things so far. Even though this news just dropped, people are going back to that trip in Jamaica, you know, with Chance and having women dancing on him and grinding on him and stuff like that. And so, you know, we also saw after the fact how his wife would make posts. She made a couple posts, I believe.
Not subtweeting.
It wasn't directly, but you know, people are inferring. She's just like, I wish people would grow up.
Yeah.
I hope people would have grown up by now. Things like that. And so, us viewers
tried to scale it back to like, well, we all need to grow up, you know. Which, you know, I get it. You shouldn't publicly speaking on your relationship or stuff that you don't like that's going on.
Yeah.
It's never really a good idea.
And here's the thing. When people see this, people who was never trying to think about getting married, people who are single, people who are just having issues currently in their marriage, this is what they say. This is why I don't want to get married. Man, seems like everybody divorcing. Okay, and this is why we're doing this video today.
Yeah.
Pause. Everyone is not getting divorced, okay? That it doesn't always have to end that way. Also, everyone is not Chance the Rapper and his wife in the public light every single day. We're gonna watch what you're doing, things like that. So keep that in mind. I just feel like we always blow these situations up. We don't know the reason or reasons why they are coming to this conclusion. It also said that they had been separated before actually making the final decision.
Yes, a period of separation.
Yes, and so I know, like with that situation, hopefully they were trying to see if they could rectify some things. You know, like maybe we just need some space right now, but they're not getting a divorce, you know.
And I haven't heard too much from Chance the Rapper during the biggest thing was the Jamaica situation, but it had been pretty quiet. Yeah, that was last year too, around this time, I think. Well, maybe
it was.
May?
April.
Was it April or May?
April or May, I think.
Okay. So I agree with everything you're saying. I think here's the thing, these things are tough to even discuss. It's not like we're not gleeful about it. We're not gleeful that there, seems to be a divorce that they're approaching. We're not gleeful that there was a period of separation that we're all just finding out about.
They have 2 children.
2 children involved in it. They only have been married in 5 years. We have been talking about this, not on the channel, but just together. Like, man, why does it seem like around that 5th year, a lot of couples?
A lot of people say that 5th year will try you. That's what
it's crazy to me. It blows my mind.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that stuck out to me with this is we obviously saw some things from Chance the Rapper, like the Jamaican situation. That was like really the most unfortunate thing, and we were really both like, that's crazy that he would think that was okay to do as a married man. In a bigger context, as a follower of Christ, one that has professed to be a believer. We've heard different stats about people who share the same faith, which she actually helped to lead Chance, I think, to a faith in God. But people that have the same faith tend to fare better in marriage. But one of the biggest obstacles in that is incongruency of said faith. So you have people who profess to be Christians, and then you have practicing Christians. And when people don't practice their faith, you tend to see more obstacles come up in marriage. And that's where you can, and that's what without going and getting into all the details, because we don't know the details, we just know what has been publicly seen. And there's a lot of moments that I've seen where Chance carried himself where I'm just like, bro, like he either was too zealous about his marriage, making a whole album which he got trashed for, which was a marriage basically like, I love my wife and all that, and people made fun of him because everything was just about his wife and marriage and love. He got trashed for that by a lot of people in the hip-hop community. Unfortunately, I don't think that's why he should have got trashed. I just don't think the music was that good personally, but that's just me. But a lot of people were trashing him for that. And so that's one extreme where it's like he's this family guy, he's trying to do the right thing, getting closer to God. But then there's this opposite extreme where he's talking about smoking weed, where he's talking about well, not talking about, but you see him dancing on girls like, butt all out and stuff in Jamaica. This woman is not his wife. His wife's nowhere to be found in the picture. And it's just like that incongruency that you see with him.
Yeah.
I think ultimately probably played out in their marriage in some way. And we don't know. Here's the thing. With both of them being Christians, and not Christians fall short of this all the time. And it's problematic to me as somebody that really does believe in the word of God. But like, there's only really a few permissible, as far as the Bible is concerned, reasons why people divorce that are Christians, like true Christians. And that's usually because there was infidelity.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying the Jamaica thing was necessarily like, it was infidelity in a way, but it wasn't like in the same way like that, like sex outside of your marriage per se. But it was still wrong. It was sexually immoral for many different reasons. And then the last thing I'll just say is like, because we don't know the reason, I don't want to speculate too much, but it's hard to see a scenario where you would break up a family for something. And I would hope that it had to have been on the level of like infidelity for them to feel like they need to separate and then now pursue a divorce. Because to me, people don't understand what it means to be married. They say to death do you part. And you don't have, here's the thing, like, you don't have to get married at the end of the day. If you don't want to get married, or if you're not going to stand up to your vows, which a lot of times are very high, like they're up there. These are some of the most binding statements you may say. But I feel like if you're not willing to fight for your marriage, you're not willing to exhibit the type of behavior that a married man or woman is supposed to exhibit, then I feel like you're doing it's a very dangerous decision to make, especially then when you start bringing kids into the picture and now you have a family. Like, I mean, as a man, I just think marriage is something that if you decide that you want to be married, you got to follow through with it. Your character has to hold up. It's not to say that we don't make mistakes, but like some mistakes you can't make, especially as a follower of Christ. Yes. And I think that incongruency is what played out.
For sure. I think two big things to look at here is when we talk to couples, people who know us, and again, we're talking about like other Christian couples. If you are not married and you have some huge issues there, we're going to tell you those are red flags. Those need to be addressed, things like that. If you see nobody lining up, whatever, maybe it shouldn't be, okay? But if you are married, right, and you guys are working through some things, we're going to encourage them to work. Of course, we're not talking about if somebody's unsafe in the situation, things
abuse.
like that, abuse, okay.
Yeah.
But
that's different.
We're saying we would encourage people to work for their marriage, like we said, counseling if you have to, preferably a pastor if you're Christian, things like that. And again, with the children in the situation, because it's rough, it's tough. Not even if going through the court stuff, but we talking about just emotionally, he was tied to the person, all that. It's a lot, right? And so we really do hope the best for both of them, the children, everything that comes from this, of course, in the public eye and things.
Yeah, I'm praying for them. I don't know what the grounds are, but ultimately, more than anything, I'm praying for them. I'm hoping for the best for their family. Hopefully they can. I would love to see a scenario where they make up somehow and they're able to. Is that going to be the case? Who knows?
Yeah. And the second thing I forgot, I just remembered, is that what is the takeaway we can get from this? We don't know if it was that Jamaica thing. Right. But what we do know is we always encourage the husband or the wife that you are representing your family. You are representing your other, soulmate, whatever. You are representing your husband if you're the wife. You're representing your wife if you're the husband. And so when you go out, people are seeing y'all. Yep. And so that's what we said, even in our old video about that situation.
Yep, exactly.
Was he thinking about his wife and how she would look and how she would feel in the situation?
People were defending her, Chance in that too. Like, oh, his wife is fine with that. It's okay. Their relationship, we don't even know. They could have been separate at that point for all you know.
People was trying to say, you flipped it, she did it, blah, blah, blah. No, either way, keep in mind, how does this make my husband and wife feel, things like that. Those are takeaways we can take. Any married couple can take. Doesn't matter if you're famous or not.
I think once you're married, now it's Chance the Rapper and Kirsten, it's like, bro, there's the expectation of you. I get it. You're a rapper and all that stuff, but there's an expectation on you when you become a husband. There's expectation on you when you're a child, child of God, when you profess belief in Jesus Christ and you're doing Bible studies on IG Live. Yeah. You're talking about God in your raps. You're professing Jesus' name and all of that stuff. I mean, it gets to a point where it's like, you start to not only represent your own household well, but like you're representing the representation of your faith now becomes an issue. And it's like, yeah, I really wish there were people in his life that really could sow into him. But at the end of the day, he's a grown man. He made decisions. She made decisions. We don't know all the details, but it's just unfortunate. So
yeah,
we'll definitely be praying for them, and we wish them the best. We would love to see somehow this all get worked out, but we don't know the nature of this. But we love to know what you guys think. Let us know in the comments if you feel like the situation in Jamaica maybe has something to do with it, or maybe they were already separate. But ultimately, let us know your thoughts. And before you head out, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and hit that notification bell.